Thank you for sharing that, Professor. We'll come back to you. Please stay with us as we move on to our next news. In an interview to a public broadcaster, Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has said that everyone can see that Israel's blockade of aid entering into Gaza is a breach of decent humanity and of morality. When asked about whether Australia would follow France in recognizing a Palestinian state, Albanese said that it was not something that his government planned to do imminently. However, Albanese said that Australia would make the decision if certain circumstances are met, but also voiced concerns about Hamas's involvement in future governance. Hamas has stated that it is willing to transfer control of Gaza to an interim government supported by the international community in exchange for a permanent ceasefire, but also said it would not disarm while Israel's presence in Palestinian territories continues. Meanwhile, French Foreign Minister Jean-Noël Barrot has said that Arab nations will, for the first time, condemn Hamas and call for its disarmament at a UN ministerial event in New York next week. In an interview to a French weekly, Barrot said the move is aimed at encouraging more European countries to recognize Palestinian statehood. Barrot also said that half of the European countries have already confirmed their intention to recognize Palestine, while others, including the UK and Germany, are considering it. Now we go back to our guest discussion with Dr. Alvite Ning Tu Jam. Thank you, Dr. Alvite, for staying with us. Now, Prime Minister Albanese has called Israel's blockade of aid entering to Gaza a breach of decent humanity. How does this reflect the growing international pressure on Israel?
Yeah, of course, we have seen that. I, in fact, had discussed this in your news channel the other day, that when we began with the conflict in 2023 October, there were lots of support which was coming in for the Israelis and what they are doing against Hamas. But as we have seen, further deterioration of the humanitarian crisis inside the Strip, and also because of the ongoing operations, there are increasing number of countries calling on Israel and putting pressure, political, diplomatic pressure on Israel to course correct or to reduce the violence or the military retribution. But again, more pressure, of course, more diplomatic pressure on Israel could put the country in a difficult position. I mentioned that little bit of a difference in the way how we see the reactions of the international community during past conflicts in the 1970s, particularly in 1973 war, the post-war scenario. But again, despite the lack of very strong pressure against Israel this time around, there is also a visible, as you mentioned, there is also a visible, voices coming from some of the important partners of Israel to improve the situation and also to make some recalibration in their policy. But again, we will have to see how effective are these pressures on Israel, particularly on their diplomatic stance. It's very important for Israel, in my opinion, it's very important for Israelis to listen to their partners at the regardless of what they said that we are going to go full throttle against the Hamas. But the international pressure from some of the big allies or important allies should matter to Israel. But at the end of the day, the Israelis decide what's deemed fit and best for them.
Thank you for sharing that. We'll come back to you in a minute. Now we move on to our next